Hi Reddit. I'm Mike, 34. You ever look back at your life and realize the biggest mistake you made was trusting someone too much? Yeah, that's me. Right now, let me take you back. Not to the breakup, not to the fallout. No, let's rewind to when I thought I was happy. Because I need you to feel just how deep this cut went. Erica and I have been married for 4 years. Not perfect, not storybook, but solid. The kind of marriage where we laughed at stupid memes in bed, ordered Thai every Friday, and argued over who left the damn socks in the bathroom. It was real. She was ambitious, sharp, sarcastic in the way that made you laugh, even when she was mad. I love that. We weren't in the honeymoon phase anymore, but we had a rhythm. Lazy Sundays, inside jokes, little traditions that made it feel like we had something unbreakable. We didn't fight often. When we did, it was fast and over stupid things. Burned dinner, loud chewing. Yeah, I'm that guy. But we always came back to each other. Or at least, I thought we did. Then came the reunion. She told me one day that an old friend from college was coming back to town. Jason. He's like a brother, she said, waving it off like it was nothing. He helped me through some crap back in the day. Cool. I'm not the jealous type. I've got friends too. I figure maybe we'd all grab drinks, or whatever. Be adults. But that's not how it went. The first time I met Jason, it was accidental. I came home early from work. Erica wasn't expecting me. I opened the front door, and there he was, standing in our kitchen, pouring himself a glass of water like he lived there. He looked normal. Clean cut. Button-up shirt, expensive watch. Confident, but not loud about it. The kind of guy who shakes your hand just a little too firmly and holds eye contact 1 second too long. Hey, you must be Mike, he said, flashing a smile. Sorry, I was just catching up with Erica. I nodded, forced a smile. Didn't realize we had company. Erica popped out of the hallway, smiling like nothing was weird. Babe, this is Jason. I told you about him. He was just leaving. That was true, he did leave. But he left behind something else too. A pit in my stomach I couldn't explain. Still, I let it go. Because why wouldn't I? She was my wife. I trusted her. And maybe you would have too. Maybe you'd be reading this thinking, Mike, relax. Not everything's a conspiracy. Trust me, I thought the same thing. But oh man, you have no idea how wrong I was. It didn't start with cheating. It started with little shifts, barely noticeable ones. The kind you only see clearly when you're looking backwards. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just say, that visit from Jason, it wasn't a one-time thing. And what I saw next, it changed everything. After that first visit from Jason, I didn't say anything. I played it cool. Maybe too cool. Because a week later, he was back. Same casual vibe. Same confident grin. He brought takeout that time. Some vegan crap Erica used to eat in college but hadn't touched in years. She acted like it was the best thing ever, laughing at all his dumb inside jokes. I was invisible. He just stopped by, she said after he left. He was nearby. Chill, Mike. I was chill, at least on the outside. But here's where things started to itch under the surface. Erica started going out more. Not wild nights. No red lipstick and club heels. No, it was quieter. Catching up with friends, late work meetings, girls' dinner. Always innocent on paper. Always just enough detail to make me feel paranoid for even raising an eyebrow. Then came the phone thing. Before, her phone would be all over the couch, in the bathroom, left charging in the kitchen. Now, it was glued to her like a second skin. Face down, silent mode, taken into the shower. I mentioned it once. Seriously, she snapped. You think I'm cheating because I'm using my phone? I backed off. Felt like a jerk. But that doubt, it had already started chewing away at the back of my brain. Still, I wanted to believe in her. We had history. We had trust. At least I thought we did. Then one night, I got home early again. Walked in the front door, quietly. No plans to sneak or spy. Just tired. Wanted dinner and a shower. What I heard made me stop dead in my tracks. Her voice. Soft laughing. And a man's voice. Jason. They were in the living room. Not doing anything crazy. Just talking. But it was the way she spoke to him. Warm. Relaxed. Like she used to talk to me. Jason. You ever tell him? Erica. Laughing. Tell him what? That we hooked up 5 years ago. That'd go over real well. Jason. He's not stupid. He's gonna figure it out. Erica. Let him. I'm not doing anything wrong. Yet. I stood frozen in the hallway. That word hit like a brick. Not never. Of course not. Just, yet. I didn't walk in. I didn't confront her. I went back outside, sat in my car, and just stared at the dashboard. Part of me still didn't want to believe it. Maybe they were joking. Maybe it didn't mean what it sounded like. But another part of me, the smarter part, was already kicking in. Something was happening. Something I wasn't supposed to see. And if I wanted answers, I knew I'd have to stop asking questions and start watching. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her. I just installed cameras. 2 of them. One went inside the living room lamp. Motion-activated, Wi-Fi, invisible unless you knew what to look for. The second was in my office, aimed directly down the hallway toward her bedroom. And then there was the mic, a discreet little bug I stuck under the coffee table. She never cleans there. No way she'd notice. All of it streamed straight to my phone. The next few days I watched like clockwork. She'd scroll on her phone, typing fast, smile now, and then. She never used to smile at her screen like that. One night, she poured 2 glasses of wine and placed them on the table. One had lipstick. One didn't. She was wearing just a t-shirt, no pants. Legs tucked up, waiting. 15 minutes later, Jason let himself in. Didn't knock. Didn't text. He used a key. That was the first slap in the face. He had a key to my house. Right on time, she said, kissing him on the cheek. He made himself comfortable. Shoes off, feet on the table like he owned the place. You sure he's not onto anything? Jason asked. He has no idea, she replied. I told him the spare key was for my sister. They both laughed. I didn't move. Just sat in the car across the street. Eyes locked on my phone screen. They didn't even bother to lower their voices. Jason. He still keeps that cash stash in the closet. Erica. Yep. Same spot. Safe behind the fuse panel. Jason. We could use that. It's not like he'd report it. My whole body tensed. I had never mentioned that safe to her. Ever. It was bolted behind the utility panel in the closet, hidden in plain sight. She never even looked twice at it. Now, Jason knew exactly where it was and what was inside. That night, after she went to bed, I opened the closet. The panel looked untouched. The safe was still locked, but something fell off. Not physically, mentally, like someone had already been inside without leaving fingerprints. I didn't sleep that night, and it wasn't fear. It wasn't heartbreak. It was calculation. This wasn't about sex anymore. It wasn't even about cheating. It was about access, leverage, a setup, and I wasn't going to stop them. Not yet, because if they were planning something, I needed them to think they were safe. I needed them to keep going. And I needed one more thing. Evidence. Undeniable. On camera. In audio. Time-stamped. Clear. They were playing a game. But now, so was I. She told me she was heading to the salon. Color and styling, she said. Might take 3 hours. 14 minutes after she left, the front door opened again. It wasn't her. It was Jason. He didn't use a key this time. He used a pick. The camera in the hallway caught everything. Hoodie, baseball cap, gloves. Looked like some Amazon delivery guy if you didn't know better. But I knew exactly what was about to happen. He didn't even hesitate. Went straight for the closet in the hallway. The one with the electrical panel. He knew. I switched the feed to the office cam. Better angle. Jason knelt down, popped the panel open like he'd done it 100 times. No searching. No fumbling. He pulled something out of his hoodie. Lockpicks. Worked the safe fast. Clean. 2 minutes tops. Click. The door swung open. My chest locked up, but I kept watching. He pulled out the envelope. My emergency stash. $4,500 in cash. Under that, copies of vehicle titles, home deed, insurance docs, banking info. He didn't hesitate. Shoved it all into his bag. And then, he looked directly into the hidden camera. Dead into it. He smirked. If you're watching this, man. Too late, he said. And by the way, your girl. Not really yours. I didn't move. Didn't yell. Didn't call the cops. I let him finish. He sealed the safe, reset the panel, wiped everything down. Gloves stayed on. He was in and out in 6 minutes flat. Then he vanished. I sat in my car across the street, gripping my phone so hard my knuckles turned white. I replayed the footage. Over and over. Zoomed in. Paused. Watched him smile at the camera. Watched him talk to me like I was a joke. And then I waited. She came home an hour later with a fresh blowout and a fake smile. Grocery bag in one hand, car keys in the other. Kissed me on the cheek like nothing happened. How was your day, babe? She asked, digging through the fridge. I looked at her, smiling, humming some bullshit pop song. She had no idea I'd seen everything. No idea I watched her little side project clean out my safe. No idea her salon appointment was cover for the setup. And I didn't say a word. Not yet. Because this wasn't about catching her anymore. This was about finishing what they started on my terms. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't scream. I didn't even look at her sideways. I cooked dinner. She talked about her salon trip and how overpriced the stylist was. I nodded, laughed at the right times. And all the while, I was copying the footage and backing up the audio in 3 different places. Hard drives, cloud, USB in my glove box. Because what I had wasn't suspicion anymore. It was proof. And I wasn't going to waste it yelling across a kitchen table. This needed precision. Next morning, I called out of work, drove across town, and visited someone I hadn't spoken to in a while. Erica's dad. The guy never liked me much, but he respected me. And when I showed him the still frame of Jason mid-robbery, mid-smirk, his face locked up, he didn't say a word. Just looked at the phone, nodded once, and said, "I'll take care of it." That was it. No questions. No rage. No shock. Almost like he expected something like this. I left more confused than when I arrived. That afternoon, I started separating accounts. Quietly. Pulled cash from our joint savings. Froze the cards. Took the car in my name to my brother's garage across town. All while she was at yoga. At this point, I told only 2 people, my older brother and my best friend Nate. Both had the same reaction. What the actual? But here's where things got twisted. Erica's friend Maddie, the one who always overshared about her own broken relationships, decided to jump in. I hadn't even said anything publicly yet. I'd only told a handful of people. But somehow Maddie found out. And instead of staying out of it, she messaged me. "You act like some victim," she wrote. "But everyone knows you've been cold to her for years." She finally snapped. I stared at that message for a long time. Cold. We ordered takeout together every Friday. I paid rent, took care of everything around the house, and even helped her mom during chemo. But sure, I was cold. She continued. She didn't steal anything. Jason just helped her get what she deserved. That was the moment something inside me just shut off. There was no misunderstanding here. No gray area. They'd rewritten the whole story already. I was the villain now. The guy who drove her into his arms. But I wasn't playing defense anymore. By the end of the week, her family stopped responding to my texts. Not rude, just silent. Avoidant. Her mom sent a thumbs-up emoji after I messaged her about the theft. That was it. They knew, and they were going to own it. But I wasn't waiting for them to. I had something they didn't. Everything on record. Now it was time to decide, burn it all down, or let them walk straight into their own trap. 3 days after locking down our accounts, I got a text from someone I hadn't talked to in months. "Can we talk? It's about Erica and Jason." I think I was right all along. It was Melissa, one of Erica's co-workers. HR rep, smart, quiet, never in our business. We'd only interacted at a few office parties and dinners, but she always struck me as sharp. I called her immediately. No small talk. "What do you know?" She sighed on the other end. I didn't want to interfere back then. But now, you deserve to hear this. She told me that about 2 months ago, Jason showed up at Erica's office. Just popped in. No security check-in. No real reason. He wasn't an employee. He was just visiting, but hung around long enough that people started talking. "Your wife," Melissa said carefully, acted like it was no big deal. But they were way too comfortable. People noticed. Then came the part that really hit me. Last month, during a happy hour, she got a little drunk. I overheard her say something about how she and Jason were rebuilding old plans and how you were just in the way. My throat tightened. "She didn't know I was listening," Melissa added. I kept my mouth shut. But after hearing what happened, "I should have warned you sooner." There was a long pause. Then she said, "If you're going after them, I want in." That caught me off guard. "You want what?" "I've seen people like Jason before. Manipulators. And Erica, she's not innocent in this. But he's using her too. He's dangerous." She wasn't wrong. Jason didn't just want to sleep with my wife. He wanted to take everything. The house, the money, the leverage. I told Melissa I had video, audio, even the footage of him robbing the safe. Her reply? "Perfect. Let's make a timeline." She laid it out like a damn legal team. Dates, events, messages. She even offered to dig through old security logs at work to back up when Jason visited the office. I didn't ask why she was helping. I didn't need to. Some people can't stand injustice when it's in their face. And now, With her help, I wasn't just reacting. I was building something. Later that night, Erica asked why I seemed distant. I looked at her for a second, then smiled. Just tired. She bought it. Sat back on the couch with her wine and scrolled through her phone like nothing in the world was wrong. But wrong was coming. They thought they had control. They thought they were winning. But the thing about fire? It doesn't start with a match. It starts with the fuel you didn't notice piling up. We started simple. Melissa had access to internal systems at work. Not deep enough to pull private emails, but just enough to confirm the timeline. And it matched. Jason had visited Erica's office 5 times in the last 2 months. All during hours she claimed to be in meetings or too slammed for lunch. Melissa printed the visitor logs, highlighted his entries, took pictures, sent them to me. That was piece 1. Piece 2. I went through her shared photo cloud. She'd forgotten we had it synced, and buried deep in the timeline were screenshots she thought were deleted. Her in hotel lobbies, restaurants, places we never went to together. In one of them, Jason's reflection was in the mirror behind her. I sent it to myself, archived it, labeled it by date and location. The evidence was stacking, and every new piece made things more dangerous. Not emotionally, legally. This wasn't just infidelity. It was theft, premeditated access to my private property, and a very real conspiracy to screw me over financially. Melissa suggested I go to a lawyer. I agreed, but I didn't walk into some regular divorce attorney's office. I went to a friend of my brother's, a guy who specialized in asset protection and marital fraud. Guy didn't flinch when I laid it all out. He looked me in the eye and said, "This isn't a case. This is a goddamn slam dunk. But you need to sit tight. Let them bury themselves completely." So I waited. Meanwhile, Erica, she was glowing, getting comfortable. She started hinting about us taking a break. "I just feel like I need space," she said one night. "Time to figure myself out." Right. After 4 years of marriage, now she's discovering herself. I nodded. I understand. I wanted her to feel safe, unchallenged, in control. Let her think she was easing into a soft exit. Let her believe she was the one managing the situation. Because when people think they're winning, they get sloppy. 2 days later, I forgot my keys. Came back home early from work. They were on the couch. Jason's shoes were at the door. Her laptop was open. His bag was on the counter. They didn't hear me come in. Didn't expect me to. And I didn't say a word. I walked out, closed the door, and sat in my car. Pulled up the security cam app. Everything recorded. I called Melissa. "Think it's time we turn this into insurance-level documentation?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. "Send it all. I'll have it formatted and time-stamped by morning." We weren't exposing anything yet. Not to the world. Not even her family. But behind the curtain, the fuse was burning. And they were too distracted playing house to smell the smoke that IT started with brunch. Erica dragged me to one of those fake perfect Sunday brunches with her mom and aunt. I played along, wore the smile, answered small talk questions, passed the syrup. But halfway through the meal, her aunt, the one with no filter, casually asked, "So, when are you two officially separating?" Everything froze. Erica blinked. "What?" Her aunt took a sip of her mimosa. "Oh, I thought it was already in motion. You know, with Jason and all that." Silence. Her mom cleared her throat and cut in. "Let's not do this now." But it was too late. Erica's face went pale. I didn't say a word. Just took another bite of my eggs and looked at her like I hadn't heard anything unusual. Her jaw tightened. She turned to her mom. "What the hell does that mean?" Her mom fumbled. "I don't know what your aunt meant. It's just people talk." Erica's whole vibe shifted. Eyes darting. Smile gone. She glanced at me, searching for some reaction. I gave her nothing. Just raised my coffee cup and said, "Weird thing to bring up at brunch." We got in the car 20 minutes later, and the second the door closed, she snapped. "Did you say something to my family?" "Nope." "You sure? Positive?" "Then why does my aunt think I'm separating from you? And why would she mention Jason like she knows something?" I shrugged. "Beats me. Maybe Jason's been more public than you thought." She stared at me. Hard. "You've been acting different. Probably just tired." She didn't buy it, and I didn't care. That night, she tried to be sweet. Made dinner. Wore one of those tops she only pulls out when she wants something. I went along with it. Play my role. Said thank you. Kissed her forehead, and went to bed early. Meanwhile, Melissa sent me a message. "Got a hit. She'd traced a hotel charge that Erica paid for with our joint card 6 weeks ago. 2 nights. A luxury suite downtown. The hotel's front desk confirmed Jason signed in as a guest. Another receipt. Another nail. At this point, the folder we'd built was thick. Melissa even had it organized by categories: financial fraud, infidelity, identity abuse, premeditation. It was almost clinical how neatly their betrayal could be labeled. And still, I hadn't confronted her. Not once. But now, she knew something was coming. She just didn't know when. And that's the worst kind of fear. Not the explosion, but the silence before it. Because now, she was starting to look over her shoulder in her own house. Good. Let her feel what it's like to live on a fuse. It happened on a Sunday. Melissa called early in the morning. You ready? I was. By now, the file she'd built looked like something out of a courtroom. Labeled folders, time-stamped evidence, transaction logs, visitor records, hidden camera clips, audio bites. She'd even written a summary page, like an executive briefing. Clean, ruthless. But I didn't send it to lawyers yet. Or family. Or Erica. No. I sent one screenshot. Just one. The frame where Jason's inside my house, facing the hidden camera, grinning like he owned the place, holding the envelope of cash in his hand, gloved up, in my closet. I sent it to her best friend, Zoe. Why Zoe? Because Zoe was loyal. The kind of ride-or-die friend who'd once threatened to slash a guy's tires after he cheated on Erica in college. And most importantly, Zoe hated Jason. No caption. No explanation. Just a photo. She replied 10 minutes later. What is this? Is this your house? Wait, is that Mike? I didn't respond. 2 hours later, Erica stormed into the room, phone in hand, shaking. You sent Zoe a picture of Jason? I looked up from my laptop. Calm. Yup. Why? She deserves to know who's been walking through my front door when I'm not home. You're trying to humiliate me? No. I'm showing someone the truth. What she does with it, that's on her. Erica stood there, frozen. She wasn't used to this version of me. The one who didn't yell, didn't chase, didn't crumble. Just sat there with facts and silence. Later that day, Melissa texted again. Zoe's blowing up her phone, asking questions she can't dodge. Exactly what I wanted. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even about exposing her yet. It was about control. And now, for the first time, she didn't have it. That night, I watched her pacing in the hallway, whispering on the phone. Probably to Jason. Probably spinning a new story. But here's the thing with liars. The more they panic, the sloppier they get. And Jason, he made a move that changed everything. The next morning, I got an email. Anonymous account. No subject line. Attached, a short, blurry video. Jason, in his car, talking to someone off camera. I've got the docs. I'll keep them until she files. If he pushes back, we dump everything. He'll fold. He didn't know he was being recorded. But someone sent it to me. Melissa traced the IP. One of Erica's co-workers. Someone else who'd been watching all along. This was bigger than I thought. They were planning an exit. A scorched earth one. But I had everything they didn't. Evidence. Time. And composure. Because when you know the storm's coming, you don't run. You dig your heels in. I waited until Friday. She thought we were still playing the same game. She still cooked dinner, left little smiles, made casual conversation like the last 6 weeks hadn't happened. But I wasn't in her script anymore. That night, I invited her parents over. Said we needed to talk. She looked nervous but didn't say no. They arrived around 7. I had coffee ready. Nobody touched it. We sat down. I plugged in a USB and opened the folder on the TV screen. First file, Jason, in our hallway, entering the house with a lockpick. Second, audio of him and Erica on the couch, discussing the safe. Third, Jason opening the safe, taking the money, looking directly into the hidden camera. Erica's dad stood up, didn't say a word, just walked out of the room. Her mom looked frozen, like her brain couldn't compute what she was seeing. Erica, she stared at the screen in silence. Didn't speak, didn't cry, didn't even blink. I turned to her. You want to explain this? Or should I continue? She finally looked at me, eyes hollow. You were spying on me? I laughed. That's your angle? Silence. I opened the next file, the hotel receipt, her credit card, Jason's name on the sign-in, then the email, the one showing Jason planning to hold my documents as leverage during a divorce. Erica's mom finally said something. Erica, please tell me this isn't what it looks like. Erica whispered. He ignored me for months. He made me feel alone. Her mom. So you robbed him? Erica, I didn't, Jason. It was just... She looked small, pathetic, like a kid caught stealing, still trying to blame the teacher. I stood up. I'm filing tomorrow. Everything's ready. Lawyers already saw it all. You're going to walk away with nothing. She blinked. You can't do that. I can. And I will. I gave you chances. I'll let you lie to my face. I'll let you sleep next to me after you emptied my safe. But now... I looked at her mom. You knew. You didn't stop it. That makes you part of it. Her mom shook her head, eyes wet. I didn't know it was this. Erica tried to stand. I raised a hand. Sit. She sat. Final file. Voice recording from Jason. I'll keep the docs. If he pushes back, we dump everything. I hit pause. This is blackmail. On record. I've got timestamps, witnesses, and intent. I could take this to court. Or the police. Her voice cracked. Mike, please. No, you don't get to please anymore. I pulled out an envelope and slid it across the table. Here's what you get. Your clothes, your car, and your silence. You break that. I drop everything. Publicly. She opened her mouth, closed it, took the envelope. Her mom followed her out, shaking. I sat down on the couch, Melissa on speaker. It's done, I said. You okay? She asked. I looked at the empty room. I will be. See you later.